The engineer is a pretty cool class, and he's kind of unique in most regards. I say most regards because if you were to take away the main aspect of his class, that being his buildings, he's basically just a slower scout at that point. Anyways, we're not here to talk about how similar one class is to another, we're here to talk about the engineer's buildings, those being the Sentry Gun, the Mini Sentry, the Dispenser, and the Teleporter. We're going to be going over the basics of each buildings, talk about the importance of the buildings, talk about which building is the most important one as well as my own opinions, and some little tips and tricks to help you out with engineering. Let's start with the simplest building, shall we? The Teleporter. As the name suggests, it gets you from one place to another within a matter of seconds. Normally, it costs 50 metal to place, but if you have the Eureka effect equipped, it goes down to 25 metal. Placing down both an entrance and an exit will cost you either 100 metal or 50 metal, depending on which wrench you're using. When upgrading it to level 3, if you count the metal used to place an entrance and an exit, you need 500 metal to fully upgrade to level 3. Though it's only 400 metal if you don't count the initial placements of the teleporters. Though with the Eureka effect it only takes 200 metal to fully upgrade to level 3. If you count the initial placements of the teleporters, then it goes up to 250 metal, basically cutting the metal cost in half. Oh yeah, each level cuts the recharge time in half too, so with a level 1 teleporter it takes 10 seconds, with a level 2 it takes 5 seconds, and with a level 3 it only takes 3 seconds to recharge. The teleporters are normally placed pretty close to the battle, but not too close, so that the team is safe and doesn't die whilst teleporting. Now onto the dispensers. Fun fact, dispensers are also known as Dispensomatic 9000 Provision Dispenser, according to the TF2 wiki. Anyways, the dispenser gives out health and ammo, and it also gives out metal if you play an engineer. That's basically it for the overview. It's pretty simple really. It takes 100 metal to place down, and to fully upgrade to level 3 you need 400 metal, so that's 500 metal in total. Basically the exact same as the teleporters. Depending on how much metal you have in the dispenser, it can either be upgraded the fastest out of every single building, or the slowest. Now finally, onto the big guns. Literally, the Sentry is probably the most recognizable building in the engineer's arsenal. It costs 130 metal to build, then 200 metal for each upgrade. The Sentry Gun is the most expensive building, totaling to 530 metal needed to build the gun all the way to level 3. Sentry Guns emit a loud beep to alert players. The amount of beeps tells you what level the Sentry is at, so 1 beep is for level 1, 2 beep for level 2, and 3 beeps for level 3. A Sentry Gun can be manually controlled with the Wrangler, but that's a topic for another video. Each level of the Sentry increases its damage, shoot speed, health, and ammo. So level 1 has 150 rounds and 150 health, level 2 has 200 rounds and 180 health, and a level 3 has 216 health and 200 rounds of ammo. The damage per second increases per level as well, so for a level 1 Sentry Gun the average DPS is around 75 damage, while using the Wrangler the speed increases to around 130 damage. For a level 2 Sentry the DPS is at around 130 damage, and while using the Wrangler it's around 200 damage per second. When it comes to DPS, the level 3 is identical to the level 2, but the level 3 Sentry Gun also has 20 packs of 4 rockets, so that's a plus. And finally, let's talk about the Mini Sentry. A Mini Sentry is basically just the son of a level 1. It takes 100 metal to build and can't be upgraded. It can fire faster than a level 1, but does half the damage. Its DPS is around 50 damage per second. Each building has a metal spending priority, though the Sentry Guns are the most complicated. When hitting a wrench on the Sentry Gun, the metal will be spent in a certain order. It goes health, upgrade process, then ammo. So anyways, that's basically the overview of all the buildings. So now, let's talk about the importance of his buildings. So I asked on Twitter of what you guys think the most important building is. 22.2% of people chose Sentry. Same goes with the teleporters. While 55.6% of people said that the dispenser is the most important. And to that I say, I agree. Honestly, I believe that the dispenser is the most important building you can place down, especially when you don't have a medic on your team. The teleporter comes in a very close second. I would have put the teleporter in the same place as the dispenser if it wasn't for the fact that on a bunch of maps, the spawn changes multiple times, especially on a really long match of control points. The dispenser takes the number 1 spot in my list, so good job dispenser. Now, keep in mind each building is important to the engineer as everyone else. Without them, the engineer would literally just be a slow scout at that point. Let's go over my list of their importance on offense and defense. For offense, I think the most important building, like I said, is the Dispenser. Coming in second is the Teleporter, especially in maps where your spawn is far away from the battle. And lastly comes the Sentry. The Sentry is literally just for area denial. When on offense, it's literally just a distraction. Although yeah, it is powerful and all, but a Sentry cannot heal your team. Now it can give you ammo, but only when it's destroyed for your Gibbs. And it cannot teleport your team from one place to another. Now on defense, it's a little bit different. I believe that the Sentry is the most important, then comes the Dispenser, and then the Teleporters. On most maps, the battle is closer to your spawn than the enemies. It's mainly only at the start where the Teleporters are really needed. For example, Upward Last, the battle is literally round the corner from where your enemies normally are. Building a Teleporter is just a waste of metal that could have been used upgrading a Dispenser or a Sentry. I put the Sentry at the start because, on defense, you're supposed to deny enemies from capping the point, and since the Sentry's job is area denial, it works. Now those are just my opinions, so don't go crying in the comments because I didn't put the Teleporter as the most important. When it comes to leveling up, I do think the Dispenser is actually at the bottom of the list when it comes to getting every building up to level 3, since each level only speeds up the healing process. Now don't get me wrong, a level 2 or 3 Dispenser is better than a level 1, but it's really just not needed at the start of the battle. When it comes to sentries, I'd rather the Sentry Gun be at level 2, at least. A level 1 sentry is good, but a level 2 Sentry Gun just deals that bit more damage that you need. And while level 3s also do excellent firepower, I prefer level 2s. Like, they're quicker to get up in a pinch, cost less, but also do a lot more damage than a level 1. The only difference between a level 2 and 3 is that a level 3 has rockets. I only really think that it's wise to upgrade the Sentry to level 3 when you both have the metal and the time. If not, I'd only really worry about getting the Sentry up to level 2. And with the Teleporters, I do think that they should be a priority when upgrading to level 3. It's the only building that takes your team closer to the battle. Anyways, now for some tips and tricks. I don't know what else to call it, so I'm just sticking with that. Let's start with the Teleporter and work our way up to the Sentry Gun. Before placing down a Teleporter, equip the Eureka effect. Place down the tele entrance and then switch back to the wrench you're using, or keep the Eureka effect equipped and place down an exit. Since placing down a Teleporter only costs 25 metal, using this trick can save you up to 25 to 50 metal on just placements alone. To add to this, if you didn't already have a tele placed down, it'll only take 200 metal to fully upgrade to level 3. Even if you place down the exit while having another wrench equipped, it'll still have these effects. I don't know if this is an intended feature or not, or if it's just a bug, but what I do know is that it's really useful to getting your teammates to the front line quicker. Sticking with the Teleporters, you know that recharge time that every level has? Well, there's a way to skip that recharge time, at least twice. Start upgrading until it has 175 to 199 metal in it, or in other words, when it only needs one extra hit before it gets upgraded. Wait until somebody uses the Teleporter and then upgrade it to the next level. The recharge time gets reset, meaning they can go for the Teleporter almost instantly after the other person. Now remember, this can only be possible twice per Teleporter, but it's still a good tip. Also, lastly, if you see a level 1 or level 2 Teleporter at spawn, just switch to Engineer and upgrade it. Not only will it help your Engineer, but it also helps your entire team. Seriously, don't just look at the Teleporter waiting for it to recharge. You could use that downtime to just upgrade it. Please, upgrade Teleporters. Thanks. Now onto the Dispensers. Though this tip really only works for yourself and nobody else. Why? Well, I'll tell you. Stand on top of your dispenser. It gives you double the metal than if you was to just stand next to it. Now, like I said, this really only works for yourself because only you can stand on top of your dispenser, well, apart from the enemy team. Now, lastly, your Sentry Gun. So let's start off with a cheeky one, shall we? Just put your Sentry Gun where people don't expect it. Yeah, the meta spots are good, and that's why they are meta. But the problem is with that, is that people are gonna know it's there. So, if you're only playing Engineer just to get some kills with your Sentry, you never know, you could find the next meta spot. Now lastly, something similar with the Teleporters. If you're building your Sentry at spawn, upgrade your Sentry until it only needs one more wrench hit for it to upgrade to the next level. Pick it up, move it where you want it to be, and then upgrade it. It may seem slower, but if you need to get your Sentry up in a pinch, it really helps. A sub tip is, before you start upgrading your Sentry properly, if you have enough, put some of your remaining metal into the Sentry before you go scavenge for some metal, because Even if your sentry shoots even just one bullet, it helps the upgrade process, meaning you need to go get more metal, making the upgrade process even longer than it should be. Also, before we go, we can't talk about the engine as buildings without talking about the Jag effect rollout, but this video is too long already, so at some point I'll talk about it. I would talk about it here, but I want to give it its own little video. So we're here, we've gone over the importance of every building and how important they actually are, as well as my own thoughts on upgrading priority. What are your thoughts? What do you think the most important buildings are in TF2? Comment down below. I'll try and read most of the comments. I have a Twitter, Steam group, and Discord server, so if you want to follow my Twitter and look at totally funny memes, or join my Steam group or Discord and send memes, then go ahead. Links are in the description. Anyways, I've been Starcasm, and thanks for watching.